Could relations between Australia and China be thawing after years in the diplomatic doldrums? The Chinese government is now signalling a willingness to start repairing the relationship. And there's even a chance Anthony Albanese will meet with China's President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Bali next week. But while there's cause for optimism, I suppose, the issues that led to a souring between Canberra and Beijing remain unresolved, including the trade bans on Australian exports, which are still in place. Joining me now to discuss this is Michael Shoebridge from Strategic Analysis Australia. Good to talk to you again, Michael. Albo's got to be careful here, doesn't he? If he gets a chance to have a face-to-face with Xi Jinping, fine, but he can't give any ground and he's got to demand that we have those sanctions dropped before we get back into normal relations.
Well, yes, Chris. The way the Chinese are setting this meeting up, which I think will happen, is that it's like it's a blessing for Albanese to meet with Xi. Xi is giving him a blessing, which is his presence. And in return, he expects a price to be paid. Well, I think the Prime Minister is smart enough not to fall into that obvious trap and say, no, this is two national leaders meeting. It's better to meet than not meet. And what I want from you is some change to your structural coercive policies. Why not let the Chinese citizens buy our lobsters and drink our wine? Why not release the two Australian hostages, Cheng Lei and Yang Hengjun? Why not do that if you want to repair this relationship?
Yeah, look, he's been very good on the foreign affairs issues so far, and particularly on China, Anthony Albanese. Here's what he said before he left.
So I'm very hopeful we'll continue to put our case that these sanctions are not justified, that they need to be removed, but we will enter any discussions that take place without any preconditions. Dialogue is a good thing if it occurs. If not, well, we'll be having, of course, the multilateral participation in the forums that will take place over the next 9 days.
Yeah, it's the right line. And as you say, he's got to do that face-to-face if he gets the chance. Also important to speak directly about those Australian citizens in China too, rather than have China try and push that off to some sort of human rights dialogue.
Well, I think raising them leader to leader says it's a priority, and that is the right thing to do and the human thing to do. But of course, the Prime Minister is going to be having meetings that actually lead to positive progress with our other partners, with the Japanese Prime Minister Kishida, with Joe Biden, Narendra Modi. So a lot of the progress will happen with the other leaders he's meeting with.
Indeed, and they'll be of like mind, hopefully, on China as well. Just briefly on another big national security issue, this from the Australian Federal Police Commissioner Reece Kershaw about the latest cyber breach when it comes to Medibank Private.
We believe those responsible for the breach are in Russia. Our intelligence points to a group of loosely affiliated cyber criminals who are likely responsible for past significant breaches in countries across the world.
So how do you deal with a regime like Russia over issues like this, Michael?
Well, the AFP also said that they would raise this issue with their law enforcement partners in Russia. The problem I have is the AFP has these police relationships with the Myanmar junta's police, with China's public security police, and with Putin's police, and they're out of step with reality. Putin is not going to direct his police to help Australia arrest the Medibank hackers. He harbours and protects these hackers because from time to time they work for him. And it's the same in China.
Yeah.
The AFP really needs to end some of these toxic police relationships it has with Russia, China and Myanmar.
Big call. Thanks for that, Michael. Appreciate it. Michael Shoebridge there, Strategic Analysis Australia.